Your beliefs are creating your current reality. In fact, your world right now as you know it are through the lens of your beliefs. So in order to have a new reality, you must see them through a new set of beliefs. But how can you let go of beliefs before you have any sort of proof to show you that you should? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can start to change your beliefs and also help you understand where they come from. The more you do, the more you'll be able to let go of those beliefs that no longer serve you and step into those beliefs that align with that desire that you have because you deserve it. So let's get started. In order to change anything, you must understand how it's affecting you and when it's affecting you so you can begin to make a new choice in that moment. So when it comes to belief is only an idea that you hold to be true. Neville Goddard would talk about this as an assumption. You assume something to be true, the way people treat you in relationships, how much money you're supposed to get or not get, and you live your life according to those truths. Your faith in them is actually blocking out anything else outside of that belief. You have anywhere from 20 to 50 million bits of information coming into your subconscious per second. That's according to Dr. Bruce Lipton. But your conscious mind can only process about 40. So everything that doesn't align with your beliefs, that means right now, if you believe that you're unlovable or you believe you're not worthy of love, you will block out the people who actually see you as worthy, who actually love you as a human being and are emotionally available to be in that relationship. Same goes for money. If you believe like you're not capable of providing for yourself financially, or you'll be alienated, or you have some sort of deep down belief that you're not capable of having abundance, you will only be able to perceive with your senses of whatever is going on in those 50 million bits of information, and you're going to pick out and filter out everything else. The potential for you to have $100,000 or $500,000 job a year will actually get filtered out, and you'll be blinded and attracting only things that align with I'm not enough, I never get paid for what I'm really worth. So that's just a small overview of how powerful beliefs are. So let's get into where they actually come from, because this is going to blow your mind. What you've got to understand is that your early on environment and all of the unique experiences that you've gone through since you were a child have created this filtration system, this belief system, this identity, self-concept, as Neville Goddard would call it, your electromagnetic signature, as Dr. Joe Dispenza would call it. So where does it come from? Why did you just start believing you're not good enough or you're not worthy? Well, no, you were not born thinking, oh God, you know what I don't deserve? Love. You know what I'm not capable of? Making any money. That's right. Baby, you never thought that. Baby, you had an inherent sense of worth. You cried out for your needs to be met because you had an inherent sense of worth. So what happens? Well, this is what happens. Whatever it was that happened in your childhood, maybe your parent, your caregiver was too busy. Maybe they were harsh or criticized you and they judged you a lot. Or maybe they were just mean, physically, mentally abusive. Maybe they compared you to other little kids. Maybe just generally they were not emotionally available. They didn't contain the capacity for emotional connection. So this is happening within them because they have their own sets of beliefs. They have their own unique experiences and lenses how they see the world. But little you, clean slate in terms of beliefs, you're counting and dependent on this person, this caregiver or set of caregivers, and you essentially put them on a pedestal because your physical life depends on them being able to provide and keep you safe. They know how to get money. I don't know what the hell money is as a little kid. They know how to drive this car. They know how to go to the store, get food, and then exchange the things, and then wow, we have food. So this person essentially to us is kind of like a god. You know best. Because if you don't know best, I certainly don't know how to live. So if you don't know better, well then I'm screwed. So you have a tendency to whatever they say or do or act, that's the right way. And if something doesn't meet up, if something falls short, it must be you. And as a kid, that's understandable. You don't have any reasoning skills. You're trying to learn how to human from these people or this person. So the breakdown of where these beliefs come from is your early on experiences and your interpretation and meanings from that. For instance, if your parent was too busy, when you went around, you're like, hey, mom, dad, or caregiver, whatever, look at this. I made this painting today. Or, hey, you want to go and play a game with me or do a puzzle together? And they're like, I can't. I'm too busy. I've got work. That's not important. I can't right now, I'm too busy, there's a lot going on, and they kind of maybe stress out. So you could think, oh, the reason they're too busy for me is simply because I'm actually not important. If I was important enough, I would get their time and attention. So you then have this belief created based on the interpretation and meaning you've given from the situation. Another thing, if you had a really harsh or critical, and again, it could be coming from a place of love. Oh, is that the way you're supposed to do that? Is that the best way you can? Are you sure about that? They're wanting maybe to keep you safe, but what it causes you to think is, oh, I'm not smart. If I was smart, I wouldn't be judged or harshly criticized like that. Again, it's not so much the intentions of the person, it's more so what you thought it meant about you. These are creating beliefs. Maybe the person was mean and you thought, oh, I'm actually not enough. If I was enough, they wouldn't be mean to me. So surely I'm not valuable, or they would treat me valuable. But again, you're assuming that that person knows best, and you don't understand at the time that this person actually has their own set of trauma, their own set of distortion, and their own belief system based on their pain and experience and all kinds of stuff. So if you particularly grew up with somebody who was very verbally, mentally abusive, they were taking out their trauma, their pain on you. That is not a reflection of your worth. That is a reflection of their pain and their lack of emotional maturity. But at the time, no one told you this. So you thought, oh, it must mean I'm not enough. I'm not very valuable. And again, start to compare. You see this in sports. You see this with grades. Why can't you make grades like that kid? Why can't you make goals or, score points like them? If you did, and again, the parent could be thinking, oh, you could get your college paid for. You could get different things and it would benefit the kid. But the kid doesn't know that. The kid only thinks, oh, I'm not as good as that person, so I must be less or bad. And this could actually be a source of shame, right? Shame is I am broken, I am not enough. Me as a person is not good enough. I am wrong. Guilt is I did something wrong. So again, you can start to see that based on your interpretations from whatever happened, this is what has created these really core limiting beliefs, or I talked in other videos about leftover beliefs, because it wasn't safe to have beliefs of who you truly were. Because another thing too that's really important to understand is that you had to fit in with this person. That means this is their culture, this is how this is their view of the world, again, through their belief system, does not make this objectively true. But you have to fit in, you have to adopt this basically, oh, you're right, I'm not good, oh, you're right, so that you can fit in and be safe, so you can have your physical safety looked out for. So this is something I realized just yesterday, and I thought it was absolutely mind-blowing. So yes, you have had these situations, and so these situations could be running in your head, so you have thoughts. So you have these thoughts of these old events, and that's going to be at a certain vibrational level. The other thing, though, is your interpretation of whatever happened as a kid that's created these beliefs. The old meanings that you've put and the transference of how somebody else treated you and you adopting that as yourself, as your belief system. So thinking of those old events and the feelings based on the old meanings. And what does Dr. Joe Dispenza teach us? Your thoughts plus your feelings create your electromagnetic signature. Whatever it is, your unique electromagnetic signature is getting sent out into the quantum field. And whatever that is, it's going to send back a direct replica of that same energetic field. So again, if I feel like I'm not enough, I'm going to send it out, and the universe is going to say, okay, so you're at the level of not enough. I'm going to send you back more of that. So people who don't treat you very well, jobs that don't value you much, you could also feel, okay, maybe it's not important. I have these thoughts thinking of this old event, and I have these feelings based on the meaning, and I'm going to be drawing to me people, situations, circumstances that would show me that I'm not important. Okay? So whatever it is that your current situation is in life, whatever your current reality, start to think, okay, the old meanings are the feelings, and how I think of myself based on the old event is the thoughts. No wonder I've been getting continued recreations of this early on situation. The person's different. This person could be your romantic partner or your romantic interest. This person could be your boss. This person could be your neighbor. But they're going to have some sort of dynamic where they're making you feel right here, whatever it is that deep down core belief is. So the secret to changing your beliefs is starting to understand this here, was somebody else's interpretation and opinion of who you were. It was their lack of emotional capacity and maturity. It had nothing to do with your worth. It had nothing to do with your capacity or your capability in life. So what you got to do is start to see it, start to make that connection. Yeah, I can see that I thought I wasn't smart because my dad always questioned what I do. So you can say, oh, okay, that was my dad's opinion. That was my dad's way of maybe trying to keep me safe. Okay, and as I start to erase this, simply by going back, thinking about this interpretation, just spending time with the dynamic of how you transferred and think that somebody else's opinion of you is actually your own. As you can start to go back, and maybe it's a situation, my parent was too busy. Okay, well, as an adult, if you see a parent and they're too busy for their kid, can you see it in a new way? Oh, okay, I can see this parent is actually in a loving way trying to provide for this child and completely emotionally missing the fact that this kid needs connection and wants to bond and spend time with them. That kid was never not good enough. That parent was overwhelmed. They were going over their capacity to mentally navigate in the world. Oh, okay, wow, that little kid was me. So actually, I am important. Because again, even if it was a situation where your parent was trying to do something, or maybe it wasn't about you, maybe they were just too busy because they were emotionally overwhelmed. Maybe having kids was actually more emotionally overwhelming than they thought. Not about you. They made choices, they made decisions, not your responsibility to take care of their feelings, but they lack the emotional capacity. You can do this through all of these different examples. If they're mean to you, wow, that caregiver had a lot of shit in their life, and that was really messed up. That was really shitty that they took that out on me. And you could have a lot of anger, and that's okay. Don't get stuck there. Everyone's gonna have an emotionally refractory period, but how short is that? Yeah, you know what? I'm mad. You let it out. Maybe you do some physical movement. Maybe you journal it. Maybe you go to a somatic therapist. Let that process and continue to move out of your body. So the more and more you do this and you start to update and start to retell whatever meaning, now that you have an ability to reason, how can you reason on the past differently so that you can change your perspective of yourself and start to realize the beliefs you held on to is what kept you safe, what kept you accepted. And when you release that and update it according to your own opinion, you are important, you're enough, you're smart, you're worthy. The more and more you look at this and reinterpret it with your adult reasoning mind, the more you can radically let go of what is no longer serving you. It's keeping you stuck. It's too small of an environment, and that's why that tension of your desires compared to your beliefs. The beliefs are the interpretation of you as a kid. Let them go and upgrade. What would that you in that desired, that abundance, that loving, secure relationship, what beliefs would you need to have to be in that realm? Now start to reverse engineer it. Start to play around and really dive into these meanings and interpretations and realize, wow, I've been holding on because I kept seeing it through these eyes, but now I have an ability to see it through my adult eyes and let go and stand up for little me and say no to that bullshit. However I was grown up, and I deserved more and I didn't get it, and that's okay. That's not about me. That doesn't define what I'm actually able to receive when I realize that I am worthy and deserving of my needs to be met. Understanding how your beliefs were formed as well as how you can start to change them is monumental. This next video right here is going to show you how you can start to believe even if you're struggling in your current circumstances. Thank you so much for watching. I love y'all. If you like this video, click like. If you haven't done so already, join this community. I'll see you on the next one.